Hey guys, it's Sam, and today I'm going to be talking about authors that I am done with. Now, with one exception, these are not serious. These are not authors, like I said, with one exception, they're not authors that have been canceled. These are just authors that don't vibe with me. I have not liked their books, and I'll talk about that for various reasons. And because this is the internet and everyone likes to get mad over nothing, if these are some of your favorite authors, I don't care. That's okay. That's fine. You can still really like their books. It does not affect me whatsoever. Just like me not liking these authors affects you none. None. So just keep that in mind if your brain gets a little hurt, a little upset if one of your favorite authors is here. It's okay. They're all still gonna make a ton of money off their books. Even if I don't read them. They're gonna be okay. They're gonna be okay. So first we have the inspiration behind this list, and that is Alexandra Bracken. I know. I just read Lore though, and that put the nail in the coffin for Alexandra Bracken and me. I have read The Darkest Minds, Passenger, and Lore now, and all I have not really enjoyed. I looked back at my review for Passenger before filming this though, and I gave it like 4 stars. But when I think back on it, I didn't like it. So I don't know what happened there. But The Darkest Minds was 2 and Lore was 1, and yeah, they're just not for me. I see plenty of people liking her books. There must be something to like about them that other people enjoy. They're just not for me. So even if she has a synopsis that is really good, I am not gonna read it because I know I'm not going to like it. 3 strikes, you're out. Then we have Kirsten White, another pretty popular author, but I had tried to read And I Darken, couldn't get through it, tried to read it like 2 or 3 different times. I did read The Guinevere Deception and thought it was mediocre, not going to continue with that series, and I hated Slayer, which I should have loved because it was a Buffy spin-off book, and yeah, hated it. I don't like her writing style. Again, none of this is like because they've done anything wrong. I'm sure all these people are very nice. Maybe, again, with one exception, probably already know who's coming. But like, I just don't jive with her books. Like, there's something about her writing style that is just not for me, and that's okay. Then we have Cameron Hurley. Cameron Hurley, I've read at least 1 book, The Mirror Empire, by her, and then I've tried to read a couple of other ones. And again, it's just something that doesn't work for me. I don't know, I can never quite identify what it is about their writing styles and all these authors' writing styles that I don't like, but I just don't, I just get a vibe. I want to like Cameron Hurley because Cameron Hurley does some like weird stuff with her fantasy, but I just can't, and at this point I'm not picking anything up by her anymore because I've tried so many times and it's just not worth it. Then we have Marie Lu. Yeah, I have not liked Marie Lu's stuff. I've read The Kingdom of Back, and I've read... Oh, I tried to read, no, I finished. I can't even remember. No, I read The Young Elites and tried to read the next book in the series and couldn't. These are books that like, I should like they seem like they'd be up my alley, and they're not. So the fact that The Young Elites was a series that me who loves the morally gray, the fact that I couldn't get with it because of the writing style is just a sign that like they're not for me. Her books are not for me. She's doing fine though. It's okay. Then we have an author that probably makes me like the most sad, and that is Sarah Rash. Sarah Rash just doesn't write books for me. Again, I know I'm saying this a lot for all of these because it's true, like these are not necessarily like bad books. They're just not for me. Sarah Rash tends to write very sort of like surface level-y type, just younger feeling YA, and I'm not there anymore. That's not where I live. I do like the older YA and like mostly adult books these days. So it's not these authors like faults that I'm not liking their stuff. It's just not for me and what I'm looking for anymore. She seems like a lovely person though. She's one of the only authors that I've like had adjacent social media contact with and liked their stuff. But yeah, even if she came up with a really bomb synopsis, I'd be like, no. Then we have Danielle L Jensen. Another one that just, yeah, no. Stolen Songbird, I read and was just like very mediocre. And then I think I tried to read another one. Dark Shores? Was she Dark Shores? I can't remember. But just, again, like, can't get into the writing. She does have an adult series that looks a little bit appealing, but I'm kind of like, you know what, no. Like, these are all authors that, like, no matter what synopsis came out, I wouldn't do it. Because there's just something about the writing style that I'm not going to enjoy. And last on the absolutely will not list is the only author that is actually a bad person, that is J.K. Rowling. I feel like we've all known that. But this is actually one that I think I'm a little bit different than other people, where I kind of felt this way even before she did all of her really shitty turfy stuff. If you're not aware of what J.K. Rowling has done recently, like, use Google because it's everywhere. There's been multiple videos about it all over YouTube, not even just the book space, like, it's a whole thing. But anyway, I was never someone that was, like, super far up J.K. Rowling's ass. Like, I was not, like, this J.K. Rowling fan. So I really feel like even before she did all this shitty stuff, I wouldn't have probably picked up anything else by her that was like outside of the Harry Potter world. And even in the Harry Potter world, probably the only thing that she could have written pre-TERF comments was maybe like a Marauder series. But even so, as I've mentioned before, when authors return to their series like years later, I'm like, I don't even want it. Like when they return to the same world, I'm like, I don't even want it. So I feel like she would have had to have done that when I was still in like high school for me to even still like have wanted to pick it up. But I didn't care about her Robert Galbraith series, never even tried to read it. I feel like she could have even come out with like a adult fantasy book and I still would have been like, no. Like maybe pre being a piece of shit, if everyone was reading it, I might have read it just to like, you know, comment on it and be a part of the water coolerness of everyone reading a book at the same time. But I've never been like, ooh, I wish J.K. Rowling came out with more stuff. That's never been my thing. But yeah, now she's firmly solidified herself into like absolutely never know camp. Then we have some authors who are on thin ice that I wanted to mention here as well that I'm like, with a stellar synopsis, I would maybe. I'm not going to completely rule them out. However, it would really take a lot. And one more, like, bad book for me would put them in the, like, I will not do it anymore. So they are, like, on their last leg with me, you know. Final straw. Thin ice. First is Shea Ernshaw. And Shea Ernshaw has had, like, some nice, like, little witchy books, and they always have, like, a really cool synopsis, but they never quite live up to the synopsis. So that's kind of why Shea Ernshaw's almost in the, like, category, because I always go into her books being like, they're going to be 3 stars. And they are. And I just don't want to go into books knowing they're going to be 3 stars. If I read a book and it ends up being 3 stars, whatever. But I don't want to go in with that assumption, you know? And that's kind of where I am with her books. I've read 2 of them. It would take a lot for me to read a 3rd. Then we have Holly Black, and I've only actually read one of Holly Black's series, and that is The Cruel Prince. And I just feel like that series was all over the place. Like, I liked the 2nd book, I hated the 1st book, and the 3rd book was mediocre. So I really don't think I would be picking up a lot of stuff by her. I know she's pretty popular all over, like, the book sphere, but I haven't read her other stuff. She has a ton of books that I haven't read, and I just really can't see myself seeing a synopsis that I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have to. Never say never, though. Then we have Amy Kaufman, and Amy Kaufman is just kind of like Shea Ernshaw, has just disappointed me. I wouldn't be completely opposed, but again, she has plenty of things out that I haven't gone for. She really disappointed me, her and Jay Kristoff with the Illuminae series, just kind of I read Unearthed and didn't really care for it. I read the 1st book in her and Megan Spooner series and didn't really care for it. And just the fact that she always does like author pairings make it so I'm like, I never really know I'm going to get with you because there's not any books. Well, she might have written a book by herself, but I haven't read any of the books that are like just her. So I'm like, I don't even know what your style is. You write with a lot of like other people and have some decent synopsises, but they never quite live up to their expectations for me. So yeah, it would take a lot. Again, I'm never saying never with like this category, but doubtful. Then we have Elizabeth May. Elizabeth May is probably close to Shea Ernshaw in that very close to the like, I'm not gonna do it category. I didn't end up liking the Falconer series. It was just very mediocre. And I also read Seven Devils, which she did with Laura Lamb, and really didn't like that. So I don't know. Again, she's one that like, if it was a really, really bomb synopsis and she was the only one writing it, and maybe it was geared not towards YA so much, but it was adult, maybe, but I don't know what that would take, because I've read a number of them by now and I just don't really care. There's plenty of other authors out in the world, so I don't need to, you know? And lastly is Sarah Morgenthaler. She writes adult contemporary romances that I keep reading. They're set in Alaska, so that's why I haven't like gotten rid of this author completely, but after I finish up this Alaska series, I have the final book as an arc right now. I don't know if I will really reach for anything else that she comes out with. She writes too long of romance books. Not enough happens in her romance books, and they're over 400 pages, and it's just too much. I'm invested now in this like little world and things, I guess, but they're always like 2 and 3 stars. Like so after this like Alaska Town companion series, I'm done. And again, it would take a lot for me to read more from her because it's just been very mediocre for me. And that is it for all of the authors that I am giving up on. So comment below, let me know what authors you are giving up on. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see all of you guys soon. Bye.